Second Esdras 5:46. And he said unto me, Ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, If thou bringest forth children, why dost thou it not together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. And I said, She cannot, but must do it by distance of time. Then said he unto me, Even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times. Yeah, I want to give all praise and glory to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, and prophets at a great millstone who rule well and teach well. This is going to be a short lesson going on, reading a little Second Esdras. Guess you can call this a little storytelling, because I'm just going to read straight Second Esdras 5, 6, and 7. Just to break it down, because I know some of you out there that still haven't got the Apocrypha, so I just want to read them all the same. Lord willing, be edified. It's pretty much basically an angel of the Lord talking to Esdras about the times to come. That's all it is. The times that we're in now and the times to come is going to get. It's basically letting you know that things are going to get worse as the time progresses. But we are in those end times, though. We're definitely in those times. This is just like I said, this is just a lesson in the spirit. So we're going to get through it as best as we can. And Lord willing, you're edified. Again, I want to give our praise and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, the Alahayim, which means He exists, He lives. And Yahweh Shai, His only begotten Son, which means he delivers, the deliverer. All right, let's get back to it. It's 49, I believe. Yeah, we'll continue at 49. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the aged, even so have I disposed the world which I created. We know that's Yahweh talking. And I asked and said, Seeing thou hast now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. He answered me and said, Ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, Wherefore are unto thy womb thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature. Basically, again, just explain like in past times, basically nothing new under the sun. In past times, he brought forth children that were maybe malnourished, or that wasn't normal children, normal like we would consider normal in today's time, like a pretty healthy baby or something like that, But it is what it is. And she shall answer thee, They that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age when the womb faileth are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old, and have passed over the strength of youth. Then said I, Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, show thy servant by whom thou visitest thy creature. All right. Let's get a little Second Esdras 6. We're going to start getting 1 through 8. And he said unto me, In the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitudes of angels were gathered together, or even the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Sion were hot, and ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also shall they be ended, and by none other. Of course, we know this is Yahweh Shai talking, because the book, he comes in the volume of the book. The scriptures are about him. It is what it is. There's no arguing that. It's Yahweh, and then Yahweh Shai, and everybody's under that. Everybody else is under that in an orderly fashion. That's how it should go. Not just everybody running, doing this and that and shit. One camp, well, speaking of different camps, you have one group of a certain camp saying this, and then another one saying that, and it's not they're not in agreement. If you teach these scriptures, whoever you learn from, you should be in agreement with whoever you're learning from, basically. So I try to teach to the best of my ability in agreement with who I feel is the best teachers, which again, to me, that is a great millstone. I mean, that's just what it is, man. Then as continue. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You know, that's talking about, well, we're in the end time. Like I say, we know who's ruling. The so-called Edomites, so-called white folks, white people, they're ruling the ruling class over the world right now. You can't go anywhere where you won't find them. So that is what it is. Whether they regular Edomites or Germans or what, Gog and Magog, whatever, or any other nations. Pretty much, if you want to go there, any other nations that's not Israelites, they've been being a pain in our ass since, man. They know it. Anyway, the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Esdras, asked thou not. I answered then and said, O Lord that bears rule, if I have found favor in thy sight, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou showedest me part of the last night. So he answered and said unto me, stand up upon thy feet and hear a mighty sounding voice. And it shall be as it were a great motion, but the place where thou standest shall not be moved. And therefore, when it speaketh, be not afraid, for the word is of the end, and the foundation of the earth is understood. And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved. For it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed. And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened. And behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters. Y'all know Esdras was one of the Levite from the Haitian, so-called Haitian, what they would be called today. So they really get insight of things, really get insight. I remember this is one of the first chapters I fell in love with when I was reading, trying to learn to the best of my ability. I fell in love with Second Esdras. I did. And I know I'm from tribe of Yahweh, Judah anyway, so it made me, at one point it made me think I was part of the tribe of Levi, but I'm not. I had to come to that realization that I'm not. I'm from the tribe of Judah, Yahweh, and I'm cool with that. I have no problem with that. Like I said, at the end of the day, I just wanted to teach these scriptures the right way to the best of my ability, and make sure that whatever I'm teaching is in agreement with what the Brothers of Great Millstone is teaching, because I want to make sure I get this shit right. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Sion shall be fulfilled. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then when I show these tokens, the book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. Like I said, there's baby. We've got instances of babies being born prematurely. Now that's been going on, and they've been that's basically what it's saying. In these end times that we in now, it's saying that. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All those houses, all those jobs and shit. It seems like they trying to open up jobs for, the holidays, which we already know, Thanksgiving coming and Black Friday and then Christmas and all that bullshit that they deck with gold and silver. And we know these holidays are coming up, so we just got to get through them the best way we can. I try not to celebrate them, me personally, but I can't keep my family members from celebrating them. So I just let them do what they do, and I try to avoid. I just try to be there. If I need to show up, I show up. If not, then I don't show up. I just try to get through my day, man. I'm not worried about it. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape, and see my salvation in the end of your world. You pray for salvation, man. Seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling, because you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be left behind when them intercontinental ballistic missiles come. There's no escape. So That's one of the reasons why I do what I do also. Because once I learned, the more I learned in this truth from them brothers, the more fear I actually got. I never knew that I was getting fear, but I know I was getting fear based off what I've experienced it so far. So anyway, let's continue. And the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth. And the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed, and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which had been so long without fruit shall be declared. Go down to 30. And these words said he unto me, I am come to show thee the time of the night to come. For thy voice is heard before the Most High, for the mighty have seen thy righteous dealing. He have seen also thy chastity, which thou hast had ever since thy youth. So anybody that's going through things, the Lord don't miss a beat. He knows what each and every one of us has been through. He knows already. So best thing we can do is keep preaching, keep doing these lessons, and to me, pray and hope for the best. That's all I'm doing, praying and hoping for the best for my salvation and salvation of certain family members that are worthy of it. I'm not no longer worried about who's worthy of it. I'm just trying to make sure I do enough for myself and any other family members that are prophesied to make it in my my family side. So yeah, let's go down to 37. And it reads, For my spirit was greatly set on fire, and my soul was in distress. And I said, O Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and says thus, Let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed. You get where it's coming. It's pretty much like this. Pretty much a reinvention of Genesis. That's all it's about. Like in the beginning, that's pretty much what this is talking about. It's pretty much explaining Genesis again for those that don't know. That's why the Apocrypha is important. Then commandest thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. Upon the second day thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commandest it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters, that the one part might go up, and the other remain beneath. Upon the third day thou didst command that the waters should be gathered in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts have thou dried up, and kept them, to the intent that of these some being planted of the Most High, and tilled might serve thee. For as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was great and innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers of unchangeable color, and odors of wonderful smell, and this was done the third day. Upon the fourth day thou commandest that the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order, and gavest them a charge to do service unto man that was to be made. Upon the fifth day, Salakia. Upon the 5th day thou settest into the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes, and so it came to pass. For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment of the Most High, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou calledest Enoch, and the other Leviathan, and didst separate the one from the other for the 7th part, namely where the water was gathered together might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou gavest 1 part, which was dried up the 3rd day, that he should dwell in the same part, wherein there are 1,000 hills. But unto Leviathan thou gavest the 7th part, namely the moist, and hast kept him to be devoured of whom thou wilt and when. Reading that, you got to also know, the Lord can bring back Leviathan whenever he wants to. You got to know that it talks about Leviathan. There's a Leviathan in Job and such. If we need to see him, we'll see him. I'm not too, I would like to see what the Leviathan look like, but I'm not too keen on that right now. I'm just trying to get through these scriptures day by day, these lessons. Upon the 6th day, thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, which is talking about the other nations, the other 17 nations, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. There's countless stories in the scriptures where we've battled these other nations. Most of the time we won. Sometimes we lost. It just depends on how the Heavenly Father chooses to do that. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Yeah, that's what we're waiting on, man. How long shall this endure? And we're gonna do 7, second Esdras 7. And when I had made an end of speaking these words, there were sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights before. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the inches were narrow and like a river. And again, God just means power, But then who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water. Y'all still noticing how it's still describing how it was in Genesis, but just a little bit more is going into a little broader detail in Esdras. That's why you really need the Apocrypha if you don't got it. I'm talking to the grown men that you need the Apocrypha to read and learn these things. It's just for the elect. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then it was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. But the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Now, therefore, why disquietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Lord that bearest rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous shall inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And he said unto me, There is no judge above the Most High, and none that have understanding above the highest. Read that again. And he said unto me, There is no judge above Yahweh, and none that have understanding above the highest, which is Yahweh. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of the Heavenly Father that is set before them. For Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai had given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient to him, but spake against him and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his laws have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And therefore Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen that now is withdrawn from the earth. Talking about Yahushua. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evil shall see my wonders. For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years shall my son shall my son Hamashiach die, which is another word for anointed, and all men that have life. And the world shall be turned into the old silent 7 days, like as in the former judgment, so that no man shall remain. And after 7 days the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in silence, and the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong, and the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. Then said I, Abraham prayed first for the Sodomites, and Moses for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness, and Yahushua after him for Israel in the time of Achan, and Samuel and David for the destruction, and Solomon for them that should come to the sanctuary, and Elias for those that receive rain, and for the dead that he might live, and Ezekias for the people in the time of Sennacherib, and many for many. Even so now, seeing corruption is grown up, and wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the ungodly, wherefore shall it not be so now also? He answered me and said, this present life is not the end, where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, and temperance is at an end. Infidelity is cut off. Righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory. I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth to Adam, or else, when it was given to him, to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it for man now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? Right. Who the fuck want to come in this world and live and die, and then when you die, go back to the spirit world, and then come back every third or fourth generation, live out that life, and die again, same over and over. That's why he sent his son. So we have to do this shit. For what profit is it unto us, if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves being most wicked are made vain, and that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly, and that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all, and that there should be showed in paradise whose fruit endureth forever, wherein is security and medicine, since we shall not enter into it. For we have walked in unpleasant places, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we consider not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Man, aren't we glad Yahweh shall die for Israel? What would we be without him? Without the destroyer, Yahweh shall, period. What would we be? Like, what would we be? Exactly. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, choose thee life that thou mayest live. Nevertheless, they believe not him, nor yet the prophets after him. No, nor me which have spoken unto them, that there should not be such heaviness in their destruction, as shall be joy over them that are persuaded to salvation. I answered then and said, I know, Lord, that the Most High is called merciful, and that he had mercy upon them which are not yet come into the world, and upon those also that turn to his law, and that he is patient and long suffering with those that have sinned as his creatures, and that he is bountiful, for he is ready to give where it needeth, and that he is of great mercy, for he multiplieth more and more mercies to them that are present and that are past, and also to them which are to come. For if he shall not multiply his mercies, the world will not continue with them that inherit therein. And he pardoned this, for if he did not so of his goodness, that they which have committed iniquities might be eased of them, the 10,000th part of men should not remain living. And being judged, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word, and put out the multitude of contentions, There should be very few left peradventure in an innumerable multitude. Ain't that the truth? Basically, without Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, we would be fucking screwed. We would just be coming back and dying, coming back and dying over and over and over, no matter how good and how we live. Well, it even matter on our good deeds, but still. Anyway, the Lord will show mercy on whom he will have. He will have mercy on whom he will have mercy. And that's just, I mean, it is what it is. Ain't nothing we can do. It's already been prophecy. You know, best thing you can do is just keep trying to teach, keep trying to learn, like I do. Like I said, this is spirit. This is in the spirit lesson. I'm probably gonna title it "Sticking Edges 5-7" in the spirit, and just let that be that. That's what it was. All right, Lord willing, you were edified. Again, I want to give all praise and glory to the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders, apostles, and prophets out of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Till the next time, I'd like to say Shalom.